Hello, Joy Zeigler here with part 1 of your Exam 1 review. In this problem, you are to use order of operations to simplify. So the order of operations is, you remember PEMDAS. Everybody remembers PEMDAS usually. But notice I did it a little differently than you may be used to. So the P stands for parentheses. The E stands for exponents. MD stands for multiplication and division. And I have it written this way because you don't do all the multiplication first and then all the division, but you do whatever comes first from left to right. So if you have a division first, you do that, and then you keep going. If you have a multiplication next, you do that. Same with addition and subtraction. That's the same way you handle it. You go from left to right. So in this problem here, you have a subtraction, a multiplication, and an addition. Those are the operations. Let me point at them. Subtraction, multiplication, addition. So we're going to do, let's see, no parentheses, no exponents, multiplication. We're going to do the multiplication first. So we have 20 minus, and 4 times 3 is 12, plus 5. Okay, now we're left with subtraction and addition. So we do those from left to right. So first we're going to do 20 minus 12, and that gives us 8, and we're left with plus 5, and that gives us 13. Okay, it's a good idea when you have order of operations to write down the PEMDAS acronym, but do it the way I did it so you remember multiplication and division from left to right and so on. So here we do have parentheses and exponents. We have multiplication and addition, all 4 of those operations. So we start with the parentheses. Now I want to point out something. There are brackets here and there are parentheses here. These parentheses, well, in this case it's okay. I'm not going to point out anything. We're going to do the inner parentheses first. So that's 2 squared, and 2 squared is 4. 2 times 2. So we have 5 times 3 plus 4 times 4 in brackets. Okay, we still have a bracket, so we resolve what's in the bracket first, and within the bracket we have addition and multiplication, and according to PEMDAS we do multiplication and then we do addition. So we have 5 times 3 plus 16. Now we're still working inside the parentheses because parentheses is at the top of PEMDAS. So we have 5 times 19, and 5 times 90 is, 5 times 19 is 95. So we are done. When you have a fraction and you have an order of operations problem, you want to do the numerator and denominator separately. So let's do the numerator. We have, let's look at the problem. Here we have parentheses, here we have a parentheses, and here we have an overall bracket. We don't really need this overall bracket here. It would have been fine without it. But we're going to work inside the parentheses first. So 7 plus 2 is 9, and 8 minus 3 is 5. In the denominator, well, we'll do the numerator first. So we have 4 times 9 plus 8 times 5. That's the numerator. Now for the denominator, we look again and we have that parentheses, and then we have that exponent. So when we do the parentheses, 4 minus 2 is 2, we get 6 times 2 minus 2 squared. And 2 squared is 4. So we're doing our exponent second. So let's rewrite the whole fraction down here and look at the numerator again. 9 times 4 is 36, plus 8 times 5 is 40, and in the denominator 12 minus 4. 36 and 40 are 76, 12 minus 4 is 8. And then we have to ask ourselves, is there a common factor between 76 and 8 that we can reduce that fraction with? And there is. We can divide by 4. So, and 4 goes into 8 2 times, and 4 goes into 76 19 times. So our simplified fraction is 19 halves. In this problem, we are to evaluate the expression, and that means we're going to plug 1 in for x and 2 in for y. So let's go ahead and write that. 1, 2, 1, 2. So rewriting that fraction, we have 3 times 1, which is 3, plus 2 squared over 2 times 1, which is 2, plus 3 times 2. So we do our exponent first in the numerator, and then in the denominator we can go ahead and multiply 3 times 2, and so that gives us 7/8. Here we're going to rewrite the expression 1/3 of a number subtracted from 7. So we write 1/3 of means times. So whenever you see the word of, write a multiplication symbol. A number, we write x every time we see a number. Okay, so that's the part before the comma. That is going to be subtracted from. So that means 7 comes first. 7 minus 1/3 times x. Okay, because subtracted from means it comes after. So this can be written as 7 times 1/3 x. In this one, we are going to plug 3 into the equation for y and see if that expression equals 14. See if the expression on the left equals 14. So this is going to be 3 and this is going to be 3. Rewriting it, we have 2 times 3 plus 3, 3 minus 2 equals 14. 2 times 3, well, let's do the parentheses first. 2 times 3 plus 3 times 1 equals 14. 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 1 is 3. 9 does not equal 14, so it's false. And so the answer is no. Okay, let's rewrite this phrase as an equation. 3 times a number is equal to 8 more than twice a number. So let's parse it out. 3 times a number is equal to 8 more. So the 8 is going to be over to the right. 8 more than what? Than 2 times the number, because twice means 2 times. So that's it. We did it. 3x equals 2x plus 8. Okay, let's go ahead and solve this equation. We're going to subtract 2x from both sides, and we get x equals 8, and that's our solution. An expression or an equation that's asked of the following: 3x plus 2 times x minus 4. If there's no equal sign, equation equal, that's how you remember. If there's, for an equation, it has to have an equal sign. If there's no equal sign, it's an expression. So this is an expression. Okay, let's simplify this. A lot of people get this one wrong. There are there are really two operations. First of all, the number inside the absolute value brackets is negative 2/3. That's the number. The first operation is to take the absolute value of negative 2/3. What's the absolute value of negative 2/3? Well, absolute value means distance from 0. So it is never negative, it's just a distance. So this is going to be 2/3. So right here, the absolute value of negative 2/3 is 2/3. But we still have this negative sign in front, so our answer is negative 2/3. Okay, we're going to simplify this. We're going to work what's in the brackets first. Negative 3 plus negative 7. Now, when you add two negative numbers, you add their absolute values. 3 plus 7 is 10, and you assign that a negative. Okay, so now we have 10 plus negative 10, and 10 plus negative 10 is 0. In this problem, we're talking about a quarterback who threw 3 consecutive passes, and one play gained 6 yards, another play lost 12 yards, and the third play gained 43 yards. So what was the total net yardage that was gained or lost during the play? So we start out with a positive 6, then we lose 12, then we gain 43. So 6 minus 12 is negative 6, and negative 6 plus 43 is 37. It's positive, so we gained 37 yards. We are to find the difference of negative 7 and negative 3. So we are subtracting a negative number from another negative number. I want you to remember something. You can remember it one of two ways. Minus a negative is the same thing as plus a positive. Okay? Minus a negative is the same thing as plus a positive. Or you could say the little adage, change the sign, add a line. So we change the negative to a positive, change the sign, and we add a line to the subtraction to make it addition. So both ways gives you that when you subtract a negative, you're really adding a positive. So we can rewrite this as negative 7 plus 3, and when you add a negative and a positive number, when you add a negative and a positive, you take the difference of the absolute values. 7 minus 3 is 4, and you give it the sign of the largest number. In this case, 7 is the largest absolute value. That represents negative 7, so our number is negative. J.T. Patton enjoys playing triominoes every Wednesday night. Last Wednesday, on 4 successive turns, his scores were 28 and 13. What was his final score for the 4 turns? J.D. Patton enjoys playing triominoes every Wednesday evening. Last Wednesday, on 4 successive turns, his scores were 28, minus 7, minus 8, and 13. What was his final score for the 4 turns? So we rewrite that as 28 minus 7 minus 8 plus 13, and we work from left to right, doing addition, subtraction, left to right, whichever comes first. So 28 minus 7 is 21. Then we have 21 minus 8 is 13. And so our answer is 13 plus 13 equals 26. Okay, let's simplify this using some of the things we've already been practicing. Let's first change subtraction to addition. That's the only place we have to do that. Next, we're going to distribute the minus 5, so we have minus 5 times 5y plus minus 5 times minus 9 is positive 45 plus 3 times 3y is 9y plus 3 times 6 is 18. But we're not done. Now we combine like terms. The y terms are like and the numbers are like. So we have minus 25 here, minus 25y plus 9y. Well, minus 25 plus 9 is minus 16. And then we have plus 45 plus 18, which is 63. At this point, continue on with Exam 1 Review Part 2.